Hello and welcome to the show. This is Sales for the Nigerian Business Person podcast. It's available on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple iTunes, or any podcast player of your choice. So subscribe for free once you're done listening to this episode, because I still run into people who assume that if they subscribe on iTunes, they are going to get dinged in their account. No, this is totally free. So it's been a while since I had a live episode. I think I did maybe two or three over the last course of maybe 2 weeks or so, because I had been sharing a lot of the audio from the different WhatsApp groups and Telegram groups that I had been moderating. That's apart from the paid group. I also ran some experiments. I did a group, well, rather, I'm still doing a group on Telegram about how to start your business in the 3 easy steps, because the paid WhatsApp group is for people who already have businesses. The other WhatsApp groups that I started just to try and promote the podcast and also to promote the paid group, a bunch of folks would would leave the group, and I'd get in touch with them one on one, and that was the major thing. I was like, well, you guys are hanging on here. You're throwing about a bunch of ideas. Everything sounds real nice, but the thing is, I don't even have a business yet, and so I feel out of place. And so that's why I came up with the other Telegram group on how to start your business in the 3 easy steps. I'm still going to share the rest of the audio over here on the podcast, so you can hear all the wonderful stuff that we've been up to on the other group. So yeah, but today's episode, this is a live one. It's me talking to you, not talking to some other person in a group and then sharing the audio over here. So, with long intro out of the way, let's get straight to the show. Now, some folks have reached out to me recently, a lot more folks than usual, and I'm happy to see that. So I guess the reach of the podcast is growing. And of course, when people hit me up, they have different questions to ask. But one person in particular wanted some questions answered over the financial institution that I've been referring to over here on the podcast, the one that I'm affiliated to, or is that affiliated with. Please, those of you who studied English, let me know. Is it affiliated to or affiliated with? The ones that have 504 billion in assets, and I say that they're good for guaranteeing your savings. So the person reached out and wanted to know what kind of business financing that they offer. And then, well, of course, business financing in the sense of, I'm a business person, I need some more capital to get my business going. So what kind of financing can I get from them? And so that made me realize that I've not been very clear on the value that this financial institution brings. They do not offer business finance. So for those of you who need capital to run your businesses, that's those of you who are product based. So you sell Ankara and you need, let's say, 500,000 naira every month to buy new Ankara so that you can sell. Or you deal in hardware, maybe computers or, whatever. You're selling physical products, so you need cash every month to buy inventory, to stock, to sell again. Now, this institution does not offer business finance. They don't do loans and they don't do equity. So they're not going to invest in your business and they're not going to loan you, 500K so that you can pay back 600K, at the end of the month or whatever. What this institution does is they're in the business of aggregating savings. So they take your savings, they pull together savings and your other capital sources, and then they back it up with attractive interest rates. Then these sums are also insured or guaranteed, so they're available for you for whatever reason you started saving in the first place. So I use the business as an example because there are some people who want to get into business later, but they haven't figured out what the idea is, or maybe they've already figured out what the idea is, but they think they need capital, and so they want to save quite a bit. So when I say that it's useful for business people who want to start the business and who want to save towards it, that's exactly the sort of thing that I mean. So let's say you want to, import rice and you need 1 million naira, and so you've done the math that at your current job, if you're able to save, okay, I'm bad at math, so 1 million, 12, anyway, do the math. So you'll want to save ₦1 million over the course of 1 year. You work at Zenith Bank. Maybe Zenith Bank is paying you really well. Maybe they're paying you 500K. And you want to see how out of that 500K Zenith Bank is paying you every month, you can save to get 1 million at the end of the year and use that to start your rice importation business. So this is how those sorts of people might help. You call in, you speak to someone like me who's going to assess your financial needs, your savings goals. They put together a proposal to show you how quickly you can reach that, what kind of interest they're going to give to you on your savings and things of that nature. Now, so that this thing makes sense, let me give you a live and a current example. This is happening right now, so this is not made up. There's a client who wants to put away 30,000 naira every month for 10 years. And the reason why the person wants to do that is for school fees for 2 children aged 5 and 4. Now, if this woman put that amount in a regular savings bank, what she's going to have at the end of the 10 years is 3.6 million naira, if my calculations are correct. Okay? Then that 3.6, that's going to be her actual money. Then, so if the woman had taken that and put it in Zenith Bank or Access Bank or whichever, that is how much she would hope would be. That's how much she would be at the end of the bank at the end of the day. Because savings banks in Nigeria, yeah, they say they're paying you interest, but that interest is not worth. It's not worth anything. Then, apart from that, there's all these fees that they charge: ATM card, account maintenance fee, this and this and that and that. And I've run into some people who actually put aside some money in the bank. Maybe you put like 1M in the bank and you expect to come back and see your 1 million intact. And then the account officer starts telling you that, well, there was a this fee, there was a that levy, the government said remove this percent VAT because of this new regulation and blah, 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 blah. And so, yeah, there are some people who put 1M in the bank account and come back and they say, where's my money? And they say, well, here's your money. You have 976,000 or something. The rest is deductions and this and this and that. Anyway, that's a made-up scenario. But there are people who, you think your money is intact, you come back and you find out that there was this charge and then that charge. So, if this woman puts aside this 30K every month for 10 years, 3.6M, that's how much she's going to have for the kids, her actual money. However, with this institution, this is what they're offering because the proposal has been pulled up. Now, the amount that the institution is going to pay at the end of this 10-year period, that's the institution that I'm affiliated with, is going to be 5M. If you didn't hear me correctly, I'll repeat it, 5 million. The actual money, her own money, what she puts down, that 30,000 every month for the 10 years is going to be 3.6. What this institution is offering is that, look, at the end of 10 years, we're giving you 5M. Now, that's a difference of 1.4. Now, there's no Nigerian bank right now, as at this time of the recording, which is in 2023. This is, where's my watch? Okay, this is the 20th of August, 2023. There's no Nigerian bank that is going to give you 1.4 million as interest over 10 years when what you dropped was 3.6. There's no bank. There's none. If your bank does that, then please hit me up. I'm going to give you my phone number at the end of the show. Let me know so I can partner with your bank instead. Because if they do that on the regular savings accounts, then I'm sure that they have much more attractive products to offer. So if your bank can match these kinds of rates, please let me know. I'd like to call up your bank and see what kind of partnership I can get with them so I can promote their products instead. So, and like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, this sum is insured. So, if this woman, God forbid, dies before the 10 years is up, or if she has what is called permanent total disability, I think so, PTD, permanent total disability, I think, at any point before the 10 years is up, provided she's been making her payments on time, the beneficiaries, her children, are going to receive the full amount. So if she makes payment year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and then she croaks in year 5, this institution is still going to pay out 5M. They won't say, well, she only paid for half the period, so let's give them half the money. No, they're going to pay the full amount. That is what her beneficiaries, the children who are now 5 and 6, then there will be 10 and 13. They're going to receive the full amount that's going to be paid out at the end of the 10 years. And this full payment is not going to come with any story attached. There's not going to be any court action required because it's not going to form part of her estate that will have to be administered by the court. There's not going to be any in-law drama. Her husband's people can come and say whatever money she had is her husband's property, blah, blah, blah. It's not part of her estate. There's no quarrel. There's no drama. They are going to receive the full amount. So, what about people? Well, that's the benefit of going through this institution, and you can see the benefits. The rates are better than what we get at Nigerian banks. And then, since it's not forming part of your private estate, when death comes into the matter, all these court hassles and in-law drama and native law and custom says this and that, all that is not part of the picture. So, what about people that are saving for less? For the same client, came up with another scenario, a different proposal, still 30,000 naira a month, and this time the contribution is going to be for 6 years. So the total contributed, what you will pay would be 2.16 million naira. But what my financial institution is going to pay out in this case would be 2.5 million naira. Well, the difference is not much. That's just only 340,000. But like I said, no Nigerian bank is going to do that. Now you give them 2.16, and then at the end of 6 years, they give you 340,000 naira as interest. If your bank does that, please let me know. So, I'm sure that you've figured out the pattern here already, that these sorts of arrangements make a lot of sense if you're talking big sums of money over long periods of time. So, big time, big money, it makes a lot of sense. Small money, small period of time probably doesn't make a lot of sense. So, the main benefits, the rates are better than the regular banks. And apart from that, the sum is insured. So if anything happens, whatever it is that is written there in the policy documents on your proposal, that is what you're going to receive at the end of time. So that's it pretty much. That's how these sorts of things work. So if you're saving to plow money into your business, this sorts of arrangement makes a lot of sense. You want to get into rice importation, you decided you want to do it next year, you don't come from a rich family, Zenith Bank is paying you a healthy salary of 300k, 400k. You think over the next year you can save 1M. So you get out, you whip out your phone, you give me a call, and we'll see how we can sort that out for you. And it's the same thing. If you're saving for school fees, this makes sense with the example that I gave here. For the 3-year-old and the 5-year-old, it's to save towards school fees. Let's see how quickly we can get 5M towards school fees. Or in the second scenario, let's see how quickly we can get to, what was it, 3.6? I can't remember the math, I just did anyway. But you guys get the point. So, saving for business, saving for school fees, saving for retirements, that is when these sorts of things work best. So if you're listening to this podcast, but you're thinking you want 500k every month so you can buy your Ankara or pay staff salary or stuff like that, this sort of thing does not work. In older episodes, I have explored some tools that can help with these sorts of things. Even though I'm not affiliated with those institutions, there was a time I spoke about Islamic banking through, what's this bank called? Sterling. Sterling Bank offers Islamic banking. How you can use that for businesses that are have high capital requirements. You need to buy machines and things like that. They have there are Islamic products that can do that. That is offered through Sterling Banks. I've spoken about that in the past. Whenever I come across useful stuff, I always share for you guys. But this is not that kind of deal. Now you're wondering, is this legal? Yes, it's legal. If you're interested, after you hit me up and after we discuss and after you have your proposal, then you can check with your lawyer. You can check with the EFCC if you're skeptical. But by the time we have the discussion and we start getting into specifics and you receive your offer letter, you see that everything is above board. It actually is an institution that, it's just that for certain reasons, I can't mention them on the air. But remember, you want to get the best returns out of this thing, pulling your savings. Then you're thinking either big money, or you're thinking long periods, or you're thinking big money and long periods, whichever works for you. If you're curious, I've been giving out my phone number a lot. It's the same, 080-6466-2140. The country code is plus 234. For those of you in diaspora, you haven't been back to Nigeria for a while and you can't remember the country code. That's the country code, in case you still have significant interest back at home and you also want to keep saving in our local currency. So, if I didn't explain it properly and you still don't get it, that's not a problem. If you reach out to me on the socials, just let me know. I'll try and explain it over there. And, well, of course, I'll tell you the name of the institution then. Then I'll also make another podcast episode to try and make it even clearer. I hope I've made it clear. But just in case I've muddled things up, please reach out to me. Let's see how I can make it clear for you guys. So, we've done 15 minutes and I will bring it to a close here. Thank you very much for the love, especially those of you who have hit me up on LinkedIn in the last week or two and have mentioned specifics about how the show has been useful, how you think it can be improved. David, if I remember the name, I think it was David. David even came up with suggestions about how we can use, what are those things called? Carousels. Yes, how you can use carousels on social media to amplify the message of the podcast. So thanks for hitting me up. It's nice to know that people listen and people find value for all the free resources that I've been putting out here for the last over 3 years and 600 and almost 690 episodes now. So thank you very much. I appreciate the love, and that's all for today. So if you love what you hear on the podcast and you like daily access to me, you want questions answered for your podcast about how to grow, questions answered one-on-one about how to grow your business, then the WhatsApp coaching club is open. It's running. The investment required is only 5,000 naira monthly. You ask me questions, I give you assignments. The goal is to move your business forward and for me to hold you accountable. Phone number 080-6466-2140. Of course, connect with me on socials. The name is Tabishima Ayede. That's how you find me on LinkedIn or wherever. Don't worry about the spelling of my name. Just check the website where you're listening to this episode or the profile or the podcast app where you're listening to my voice. The correct spelling of my name is there. My email address is there. And my photograph is there as well, in case you want to see what I look like. So that's it pretty much. So thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next episode.